Welcome to the Chocolate-Gourmet-Festival from Hanover. My name is Michaela Schupp from Schokolade and my guest today is Duane Dove. And he's a real globetrotter because he's traveling between his plantation in Tobago and Stockholm, where he has his chocolate shop. And he is a sommelier, a chocolate or rum sommelier. And he's a chocolate expert and cocoa expert, of course. So welcome to the festival, Duane, and thank you for coming. And we're really looking forward to hearing from your cocoa and chocolate ventures.
But thank you very much, Michaela, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here or there. Unfortunately, I can't be in Hanover in my physical form or state, but this will have to work for now. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, very nice. So would you like to tell us about, what you do in Tobago?
I am from Tobago. My father is English. My mother is from Tobago and Guadeloupe. So we sort of spread out over the Caribbean. But I grew up in Tobago before leaving for Canada to pursue my studies in engineering and then culinary arts. So I started with a structural engineering program and then I went over to culinary arts, basically. But I grew up with cocoa because in our family we had a cocoa estate. So myself and my siblings, we all helped on the farm, doing different things, until we were of age. But we didn't. In those days, you sold your cocoa beans to the local buyer. So there was no chocolates really there or available to consume. Yeah, basically.
Okay. And you changed that?
Well, yes. Yes, I decided after completing my culinary arts education in Toronto at the George Brown College of Culinary Arts, I then moved to London and pursued my wine and spirit examination trust exams for wine and spirits training. And then after that, I moved to Sweden to attend the Swedish Restaurant Academy to follow up on my wine and spirits exams. And I completed my sommelier exams in Sweden and started working. Basically, we had started a restaurant project in Stockholm, and our specialty actually then was rum. So we were sort of like the pioneers for barrel-aged fine rum in Sweden. And we had the largest collection of rums, of course, in Sweden. And getting into the rums, we decided that we needed to pair the rums with something. And I started investigating, and it brought me back to the Caribbean, to the cocoa and chocolates, because rum and chocolate really marries very nicely. Chocolate being cocoa coming from the South America, Caribbean, and then the rum from the sugarcane, which also has its roots in the Caribbean. So it was a natural combination for the rum and chocolate. And then I would say after that in 2003, I thought about actually going back to Tobago and starting my own farm, a new farm. So I found some land in Tobago in the north east of the island, 30 hectares, which was a huge cocoa area. And but that specific spot did not have any cocoa, so I decided to replant the whole area, the entire area. So we started that task in 2004, and we completed all the planting in 2006. So in 2009, we began receiving our first harvest. And in 2010, the 12th of January 2012, we launched our very first ever chocolate, which was our Tobago Estate 70% dark. I have a bar here to show you, basically. And I approached my friend, Francois Pralou, to assist me with the production of the chocolate, because I've been working with his products for over 15 years prior. I like his style, and it was sort of natural for me to approach him and to ask him to help me. And since then, we've been actually making chocolates and winning awards, etc. Yeah.
Very nice. Can I just interrupt? Can you look into the camera?
Sure.
Yeah, So that's good.
Yeah.
So it's so you have the dark bar, but
Yes, we have the dark bar, yeah.
but you also have an award-winning milk bar that
That's
I
correct. Yes.
personally like very much.
Yes, and it will, as we say in the Caribbean, soon come. So it will soon be back. This is
Okay.
our Laura bar, which is a 45% milk bar, which we launched first in 2017, and it's really, really appreciated by all our customers, both well internationally. So it's called Laura because it's actually my grandmother. My grandmother's name Laura, and we were very close. So as a tribute to her, to celebrate her, we baptized the bar after her.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
So what else do you do on the estate? You're not only growing cacao, but you are also doing tours, right?
That's right. Well, in the beginning, in the early years, we were actually doing a lot of other companion crops together with the cocoa whilst the cocoa were growing. So we're growing bananas, ginger, pumpkins, cassava, plantains, plantanos. So all of these different companion crops to basically help us, to basically help us sort of as we await to receive our first harvest. But then we started doing instructional estate tours, and we started doing that in 2008 because then we had something to show people. And the location of the estate is quite close to a very well-known tourist attraction, which is the Argyle waterfalls. So we would have tourists, the logistics were good. We would have the tourists visit the estate first, and then they can go and have a swim in the waterfalls because you get a little sweaty. Yeah. So the estate, we have a boutique at the estate, so you can have a little coffee or a hot chocolate, local cocoa tea. And also it's an instructional farm tour. So the farm, I've designed the farm similar to a vineyard. So I've been using my wine, wine vineyard visits to sort of adapt it to the cocoa estate. So everything is lovely, planted out. We have the different blocks with the different varieties of Trinitarios we grow. We have a lovely little trail that you can walk. We have 17 different varieties of mangoes. We have we have lots of different natural tropical fruit that were there when I came, because I don't cut down trees basically, and what we planted. So we have coffee also, so we can do coffee in the season when we have tourists visiting, etc. So it's an agro-tourism project, and at the same time we're making award-winning chocolates.
Wow. Well,
and we are organic.
Yes, you are organic. Very good.
By German standards.
Yes, so we can continue selling your chocolates because we are also organic certified.
Yes, yes, I'm happy to hear. We need your support.
Yes, you already have it. So I forgot to ask what I wanted to ask now. On the famous virus we are all coping with now, how did this affect you?
Well, Michaela, I've never witnessed anything like it. I mean, it's the invisible virus, because we have been feeling it from all directions. On the estate, we have been sort of strangled by the virus because we haven't had any tours or any visitors to the island or to the estate since February. We have also had problems in shipping the beans because we use ocean freight, and there are admin problems when they arrive within the EU. The sailings of the shipping company are reduced. They are not as frequent during COVID-19. So that has been a problem. Our partner, Francois Praleux, his factory has been closed for a certain period of time, which has kind of stepped up the whole production, as we do have beans in stock. And very similarly with our Danish partner, Michaela Schupp, same problem there. So the logistics has been a problem. Cocoa is growing as much as it's supposed to, The cocoa trees are not affected by the virus, of course, and we have all our staff. I mean, there's a lot of social distancing when we're on the estate. So there's 100 meters between the staff. So we have a lot of stock in Trinidad and Tobago, and we also have stock in Europe, luckily, so we can instigate the production. And also on the end, our trade fairs, of course, the trade fairs, which are all canceled or postponed due to COVID-19. That's where we meet our customers and our, potential, new customers. So that has always been, that is also a problem. And also even our chocolate tastings, because at our shop, our tasting studio in Stockholm, my studio, we are only allowed to have a certain amount of people in the room, basically, in our tasting room. So yeah, we've been feeling it from point A to point Z, basically. We are feeling it. So we're very encouraged and happy that by this effort of having the virtual trade fair, and also that the awards are still taking place, that they haven't been cancelled or postponed, because I think we need to keep everything alive and try to maintain some sort
Absolutely.
of normality as best as possible.
Yes, I totally agree with you, and that's why I initiated the festival virtual. Because of course our normal festival has been cancelled as well, and my tastings too. And we are only now recognizing in the warehouse, in our small chocolate bunker, as Monica calls it, that we are from some chocolate makers, we have no product because they're not getting beans, they cannot produce chocolate, and people are not aware of this, that parts of the world are on complete lockdown. You cannot import, you cannot export. It's very hard. South America, partly, Peru is on lockdown. Madagascar is on lockdown, so you cannot get in and get out. Australia. And I think it's also one way of making people aware of this situation, and every help is being appreciated.
Yeah, it's really, I have lots, of course, all my colleagues, we speak, and even when I try to order, because in my shop, we do highlight other craft chocolate makers. So we have a selected amount of craft chocolate makers in our shop, and certain spots are empty because there's no product. And we also have to explain this to the consumer, who really doesn't know, because they go to a regular supermarket and they see the shelves are laden with stuff, and they want to know, so why don't you guys have my favorite brand? And then you have to give the whole 20-minute explanation.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much for all the information you just gave us and the insight. And I'm looking forward to the tasting we will have right after our conversation here. So thank you very much, and we'll see you back in a minute.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just
show us what this is, an original cocoa pot.
Yeah, sure. So
I remember last year you had one at the festival live also, or several ones even, and we kept one pod. And we cleaned it out, took out all the beans, of course, and everything that was in there, and we dried it, made sure there's no mold in there, and we still keep it. I show it at my tastings too, and it's fairly big.
Yeah, so I always have pods. I mean, of course, we haven't had that many tastings, so obviously we haven't had that many pods. But now, for this filming we had yesterday, I got some last week Friday. So basically, this is one of our Trinitario pods that we grew at my estate in Tobago Estate, and it is actually a Trinitario. It's the proper name for it is Trinitario TSH 1188. Wow. So it's one of the 100 different Trinitarios that are approved for planting, for production in Trinidad and Tobago. So I cracked the pod, and I'm just going to show you the content. And what you're seeing is the fresh white pulp. And under the pulp is the actual bean, and you can actually taste the pulp. It's very fruity. Sometimes it has some passion fruit, mango notes, some lychee. So what I'm going to do is just taste the actual pulp. Very fresh. A lot of passion fruit, a lot of mango. And then if I just sort of bite it, you'll actually see the fresh bean, which is purple. Yeah. And then after it's been fermented and sun dried, then the bean basically looks like this, which is the dried fermented beans.
Yeah.
So this is our fresh Trinitario cocoa pod.
And the beans are also being fermented and dried at your estate, right?
That's correct. The beans, we use a small batch fermentation. So our fermentation utensils are made of the same cedar that we harvested at the estate. It's a red cedar, indigenous to Trinidad and Tobago. And the boxes are quite small. They're only 2 by 2 meters square. And we fill them with the fresh beans within just like 2 or 3 hours of harvesting and cracking the pods. And then we cover the beans with lots of fresh banana leaves. And that sort of instigates the whole fermentation process. It's a spontaneous fermentation, and the whole process takes about approximately 5 to 7 days. And after that, the pulp is all melted away, dissolved, and then we place the beans out in the sun on large drying decks for about 5 to 7 days, depending on the weather conditions. And after that, the beans are all dried. Then we grade the beans. We have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Then we bag our beans, and they are kept in our storage area, storage room, specially built to keep the beans until we have enough to ship, or we have enough to make a shipment. And then when we get to the factory, then we take it to the next step, which is going from bean to bar, basically.
Yeah. And during the fermentation process, do you turn the beans?
Yes, we turn twice. So after 48 hours, we take the temperature. So we usually, begin at 0 degrees Celsius. After about 48 hours, depending on the weather conditions, we probably at about 20 degrees Celsius. So we make one turn. And then after another 48 hours, we turn again. And then we're probably up to about maybe 40 degrees Celsius. And then after the following 2 to 3 days, once we get to about 48, 50 degrees Celsius, that's when the fermentation is complete. So we record the temperatures, and we also recommend record the pH of the mass during the whole process. And this is all documented in our farm record journal, because of course when our inspectors or organic inspectors visit, we have to show them the books.
Yes.
And they come all the way from Germany.
Yes. I know. They seem to be everywhere in South America.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, and the drying, do you have like a tent for the beans when it starts raining or something?
No, well, the beans, when they're drying, when we put them out the first day, they're a little bit still moist and wet. So we would spread them out very, very thinly on the dry, because if we have them in heaps, the fermentation will continue. So we have to spread them out in very, very thin layers, and then we would rake the beans basically every 15 minutes. Raking means that we have it's like not a metal rake, but it would be a wooden rake called a radu traditionally, and that we would use to gently turn the beans, because they're very soft and they're very brittle. And we would do this every 15 to 20 minutes. And we would only give the beans maybe a maximum of 2 hours sunlight the very first day. And on our drying decks, we have roofs that we can roll back and forth, galvanized roofs. And they're not very large. It's about 20 meters by 10 meters. So they're very easy to handle. And we always have to have a staff member checking on the beans in case we should get any rains suddenly falling, because we don't want the beans to get wet, basically.
Yes, of course.
And then the day after, we turn the beans again, we rake the beans again, and then we may give it like 3 to 4 hours sun, and then we increase that every day. And we also getting close to the end of the drying process, we would test the humidity in the beans because we want to have a humidity value which is between 6 and 8%. If it exceeds 8%, then the beans can still be wet and we can have mold occurring. If the beans are too dry, or below 6%, they get very brittle. So when they get to the factory and we have to roast, they tend to crumble. And even during packaging, they can be crushed very easily. So, so all of these small things that we do on the way are very important. Even the storage room that we have on the island, it's all tiled. It's a 20 degrees Celsius storage, and it has a humidity, some humidity value that we keep. So to keep away any insects, any moths, and of course it's a dark room basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, we see you at the tasting in a minute.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Me too. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, Duane. Can you hear me?
You hearing me?
Yes, I can, and I can see you too.
Wonderful.
Welcome. I have a small bowl here.
Yeah.
With 4 small chocolate bars, 5 grams.
That's what we have today.
Yes. So no normal bars here yet.
No, Michaela, not at the moment, but I have gotten confirmation from our dear friend Francois that we will have chocolates before the 15th of November, and we will have lots of stuff, and we have an entirely new product that we will be launching.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell what it is, or do you want to keep it a secret?
I think we have to keep it a secret.
We have to keep it a secret. Okay.
But we haven't launched a new product since 2016, so I think it's about time. And actually, Michaela, we had 2 products planned to launch this year, but well, you know, because of everything, Francois said we could do 1. We have enough time to do 1 product before Christmas. So we do 1 product now, and then we do the other product maybe, well, let's say January, February, before Easter, maybe, probably.
Yeah. Will you send me this product automatically?
Of course, of course. I will send it by DHL Express. Not FedEx, not UPS, DHL.
Oh, DHL, please. Maybe you have to explain to the audience why we're laughing of DHL.
Well, I am fascinated by everything German. I don't own a German car. I'm a poor farmer, so I can afford a German car. However, one day it's on my bucket list to get a nice German car. But I like the German logistics, and I had such a wonderful experience with our German organic inspectors who visited the estate. Organic certification. It was a very uplifting experience. So
that's very nicely put.
Yes. So yeah. And nice to be here. And a wonderful idea of the virtual trade fair. I think it's just great. Wonderful.
Thank you. And I also know that you're getting your pods with DHL.
Yes, the pods have been actually I ordered some pods just a couple of days ago, so we should get some more pods next week, because we actually our tastings are sort of picking up again, our chocolate tastings, and especially our virtual online chocolate tastings. We are getting a lot of requests and a lot of interest. So you know, we despite COVID-19, we are really doing everything within our capabilities to keep this thing alive and going. Yeah.
Yes, so do we.
Yeah.
So we have 2 chocolates to taste.
Yes.
Which one first?
I think you should start with the Laura first.
Okay.
You know, if it's okay with you,
absolutely.
Laura, as the visitors to the virtual trade fair would have seen, Laura was launched really in the beginning as a jubileum bar, basically, to celebrate our 10th year anniversary. And we didn't really have any intention on continuing with Laura. but the response was so good. So we figured, well, we have to do it. You know, and now I guess we can't stop making Laura because, you know, Laura has a fan club. Yeah.
Yes.
So we plan to continue with Laura. And
better do.
I'm happy that Laura was also received another silver at the European International Chocolate Award finals. So you know, the interest is still there, and people like the product, and we're keeping good quality still. So we stick into it, basically.
Very good.
Yes.
So I'm eating it now.
Yes. And actually, where I am right now, in about 20 minutes, we have a chocolate tasting for 20 people. We can only have maximum 20 people in our studio. And Laura is actually one of the products we're going to be trying today at the tasting. Yeah. Very
good. What do you want to say about the flavor?
Well, I think what really distinguishes Laura is that, you know, we are producing high-grade Trinitario cocoa beans, and the same high-grade Trinitario that we would use for our 70%, we're using them for the Laura bar. So I think you get those very pungent, you know, lovely, fruity, floral aromas coming through on the Laura with some nutty notes, yes. You know, basically. So I think that's what distinguishes, because even if it's a milk chocolate, we're still using our very high-end Trinitario cocoa, same Trinitario that we use for our 70 and for the other new product we are launching. So I think that the quality of the beans, you know, really keeps the Laura, you know, out there, basically. Yep. I think it's a lovely chocolate. It's really hugely appreciated by all our yes. customers.
I think also because it's very, very creamy. And nutty flavors and caramel.
Yeah, it has a nice creaminess about it, and it also marries very well with a lot of different beverages. I mean, if you're pairing chocolate with, you know, whether it's a table wine or a distillate, you know, it pairs very nicely. So I think it's a nice all-around sort of a product, basically, that reaches out to everyone. We've really only we have people emailing us every day. Oh, when is Laura going to be back? When is Laura going to be back?
We're also having people waiting for it.
Yes, yes. So you just have to tell everyone that, you know, just give us a couple more weeks, and then, you know, and once we get rolling, then we're really rolling. So hopefully we won't have any more disturbances, basically.
Yeah. I think we're all praying for that.
Yes, yes. But it's nice, you know, the name for Laura, I wanted to give it like a personal touch. So, you know, I actually named it after my grandmother, as was mentioned in the interview before. You know, and I just think we would give it a personal name just to give it some sort of something significant, as it was our 10-year jubileum chocolate. But then after a while, you know, it's like Laura, it was easy for everyone to pronounce, and it was, you know, and I think it's a tribute to my grandmother, Laura.
Yes.
The next new bar, Michaela, is actually also going to be, has a name, not an individual, but a name that has a geographic reference.
So you're trying to make me curious now.
Yes, 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 yes. And you're German, so you're going to be analyzing and you'll be trying to figure out, okay.
I can wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your dark bar.
Yeah, the Tobago Estate 70, which is the first chocolate product that we made. You know, when I approached Francois in 2008, which was the year before we were gonna harvest, we were contemplating on what kind of a bar we're gonna make, what cocoa solids. Should we do something 64, you know, 66, or should we do like a 75? And, you know, we tried different roastings on a couple of different occasions. And on his suggestion, well, both of us together, we realized that the 70 would be a nice introductory level, basically. So we decided to go with the 70, and this was actually the first ever, single estate chocolate bar from Tobago. We never really had a chocolate bar made with the direct identification, back to the farm from Tobago, because everything was all sold to a broker and it was all mixed up, etc., etc. So we were actually the first to actually create the very first single estate bar from Tobago, which is, something we're very proud of, basically. Very small production on the first production. We only had, I think, 300 kilos to make the first bar, and which means that it was below the 500 kilo mark for the couch. So the chocolate was quite dense, when we made the first chocolate. But still, I decided that let's go ahead, let's do something. And we've been working at it for 6 years, and finally we had something to prove. So 6 years of really hard labor, and then we had something to show. And then during the years, it's progressed. We had to adjust the roastings back and forth, etc. The couch is still a very long couch, which is very typical for Pralu, which I like. I love that creamy texture, that roundness of the chocolate. And again, as a sommelier, it marries very nice on my tastings with beverages, whether it's a nice aged rum or some sort of a more tannic wine, or maybe a soft tannic wine, whatever. Whiskey. I think it really works really nice to the different combinations. So yeah, and what I sent you was the Napolitans, which is what we use on all the tastings, which gives you that really, quick, fast release of everything. So I think we will continue with the Napolitans, basically. So it's nice, fruity, floral. Yeah, nice, fruity, floral, typical Trinitario varieties. We have of the 100 different Trinitarios that we have that we are allowed to plant in Trinidad and Tobago, we have about 17 at present at the estate. So depending on when we harvest, we would have the different Trinitarios that we would use. So we would have sometimes the 919, 1188. We might have a mix of 5 or 6 different Trinitarios that we ferment, depending on which blocks we harvest at the estate, etc. So why
do you have different cocoa types, just to make sure, in case there is another witch broom, you're not getting in trouble?
Correct, Michaela. To eliminate the risk of any diseases spreading, we would always cross plant, or so we have for example, in block 1 at the estate, we would have 4 different Trinitario varieties. So we have the 919 one row, we have the 1188 one row, we have the 1076 one row, and then we have the 1200 in one row. We go to block 15, and then we have another constellation of plants. And this we do to reduce the risk of any disease spreading. Yeah. And all of this assistance as far as planting is concerned, we received from the Cocoa Research Center in Trinidad at the University of the West Indies. So Dr. Darren Sucker, has been helping us a lot during the years, during planting, etc. So we have a lot of really good cocoa people still left in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge. Yeah.
So getting back to the chocolate and the flavors, it is very creamy, chocolatey, nutty, fruity. Yeah, I think nice and round.
Yeah, I think it carries a lot of those typical, Trinitario fruity aromas, the cherry notes, and not too acidic, and the nutty notes. I mean, the nutty notes can vary depending on the roasting sometimes. But basically, I think in general, it has that lovely creamy finish, which a lot of I think a nice balance with the creaminess of the chocolate and the nutty notes is what really appeals to a lot of our customers who like our chocolates. So yeah. So I think it's I think we have to try to maintain that balance, basically, for each production. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like the chocolate too.
Yeah. Thank you. You taste a lot of chocolate, so you
yes.
you would know.
So to the audience, as soon as it is available, you can see it online in our shop.
Yes.
And now the question is, are there any questions from the audience? Nothing that I can see. No, so I just want to make a guess.
Great. Some from Kevin. He said, great, very informative. Yeah, it's good to hear.
From Kevin, yes. Hello, yes. Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Wherever you are, wherever in the world you are.
I have one question. Do you intend any time to make 100% bar?
Yes, I would love to do that, Michaela. I think we did the 70 first, and then we did the 45, and now we have a new product coming out, and I would love to do a 70. The only problem we have been having, well, previously, we would do like between 3 and 4 productions per year. This year, we have only done 1, and we will do 1 more now, and this is because of what's happened. So now we have a huge amount of beans in stock that we need to make into products. So yes, the 100% is on my bucket list, and I would really like to do it. But our problem, Michaela, is that because we are sourcing from our own plantation, and we only started planting cocoa in 2006, so a lot of my trees are still have reached maturity or coming to maturity, so we're not getting the full amount of yield per tree as yet. So I can't, if I have to produce, 3 tons of Laura a year, I can't take from that stock, that allocation, and introduce 100%, because then Michaela wouldn't have all the Laura she needs. So
no. Then we wait for the 100%.
We don't want to do that. So basically I really want to do that. There's so many things we want to do, Michaela. I'm not too much for flavored chocolates. I like I'm more of a purist. So I like the reflection of the raw material, the fermentations, all of that to be reflected in the finished product. So we're not going to be doing, too much flavored stuff. I really don't have that on the agenda, but 100%, oh yeah, it's on my bucket list.
Very good. And it's on my bucket list to visit your estate one day.
Well, you will. Once we get Condor flying again, then you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to visit us. 2024, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Or when our guys from Ceres come to do the next inspection, you can follow with them.
Yeah, maybe.
Really nice guys.
and travel further south with him, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Duane, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the next shipment.
Yes.
I'm waiting for it, and we keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.